I said, while I think Luepke is still growing into the blocking aspect of being a fullback, his in-season growth, especially the last few weeks, has been noticeable and commendable. I highlighted a few of these plays, and this actually kind of goes into the whole, are we putting some things on film? Are we prepping for the playoffs? Hunter Luepke played 25 snaps. That was a season high. Hunter Luepke had 13 run blocking snaps. That was the second most and the most since week 2. And for the most part, the Cowboys were efficient running behind it. And like I said, I drew up some plays because you can see the improvement in Hunter Luepke from week 2. If you go look at like the Jets game to this week or the last 2 weeks. Is it perfect with Hunter Luepke? Not yet. Is it the physical presence of a natural fullback? Not quite yet, right? Like I don't think he brings the power behind his legs consistently, but he's going to give it 110% effort, and he's still 240 pounds, right? So if he comes in technically sound, he can still turn you. And I thought he did a good job of that in this Washington game. I thought he did a pretty good job of it in the Detroit Lions game. And again, you look at the snaps, 13 run blocking snaps, the second most since week 2. That could be them prepping for the playoffs because they did a good job running behind it. You know what we didn't see a bunch of? Those corny shotgun, we're going to pull the guard and think everything is going to be A-okay. You know what we saw more of? Pre-snap motion when there wasn't a Hunter Luepke or a tight end in the backfield. When they didn't elect to do pre-snap motion, which again, I'm not saying you got to do it every play, but if you're not going to do it, then you need to give your guys some type of advantage. Well, having a lead blocker, a fullback, does that on those handful of snaps. It happened to be 13 snaps. Now, here's where Hunter Luepke, I don't know if they're going to do it this year, but here's where it can get fun with Hunter Luepke. When you do this, right, 13 times in the game, not saying they ran it 13 times behind them, but when you do that, you can now play action and hit Hunter Luepke like you saw in Miami. You can hand it off to him on 3rd and 1 like you saw in Miami. When you use him at the goal line as a blocker, you don't necessarily even have to hand it to him. You can run behind him. So that was something that I noticed. Well, everybody should notice when you watch the broadcast. But I had to go back and look. I said, man, he looked like he played a lot more than he normally played. Blocking at the very least, right? I thought he did a good job. I thought the Cowboys did a good job running behind him. And I think he's showing improvement. I think he's showing improvement as a blocker.